Okay, I'm good to go.
All right. I wanted to catch that on recording, but I didn't. Welcome back, guys.
No,
we have one last video for the RLCS week of videos, and it's going to be...
Make sure that's off camera.
It is off camera. You're fine. It's going to be a lot easier of a video because we don't have to rank 24 players or anything. We're just ranking top 8 teams in both North America and Europe. We're doing it in one video because it should be relatively quick. I'm here with Shogun once again. If you haven't seen him, he's been talking.
Where's my... There it is. There's my clan sign, you know.
Oh, okay.
There we are. Join the...
Join the Wu-Tang birds.
No, the Wu-Tang birds. Chirp, chirp, boys.
Chirp, chirp. Anyway, we're going to get into this. We'll start with North America just because that's what we usually do, because that's on Saturday, and then Europe's on Sunday, and that's just how it goes. Yep.
Bias.
That works. Hey, it's good, because then I could fly home on Sunday night. It would be a pain in the ass if North America was on Sunday night. So it works out. Anyway, let's get into it, Shogun. We're going to rank based on regional championship results. So, if someone comes in 6th during the season, they could still come in 1st at the regional championships. And 7 and 8, we will just rank based on what they finish in the season, not based on promotion, because that's a whole nother ball game when we get to that later. So, we'll start. I will start, I guess, North America, and you'll start Europe. But we will start at 7 and 8, and then we'll go back and forth, and then we'll move on. We're probably going to be pretty similar, I think, in most of these, so it should be relatively quick. Let me see which list is the right one, because now they're all changed. Okay, here we go. Number 7 for me. We'll start with 8. I'm going to go with Out of Style in number 8. It's going to be a tough season for them. I feel like they're having a lot of team dynamic issues. Like, we see Johnny being depressed on Twitter constantly. Latch tried to leave him. It couldn't find a team. It's not really going to help when you have to crawl back. Like, all right, we'll keep our spot, and I guess we'll grab Hato. And, like, Hato's not a terrible player, but, like, once again, he was probably the 3rd best player on Fibian when they went 7-0, and they didn't even make it into the RLCS. I think they're going to have a pretty tough season. Next up, I have Momentum. There's a lot of question marks here of how much they're actually playing. No one really knows. No one knows if Miho has gotten back into form, like Season 3 when they made it to the World Championships. He was supposed to be working with his father. I haven't heard too much about it since then. That's a big question mark. I think it could be possibly an upgrade for Moses, but it depends how much he's playing. And Dapper can't have as bad of a season, I guess, as Season 4. It'd be really hard to have that happen again.
Pretty much impossible.
Yeah, so maybe they have a chance to bump up a little bit more, but they were last season. I'll have them at 7th here. Shogun, what do you got for the bottom 2?
I'm not going to surprise you too much here, really. Out of Style at number 8. A team that is put together purely to keep a hold of their spots is not exactly, making everyone cheer with happiness about how likely they are to do well this season.
Yes.
They're going to really struggle, especially with the top tier of NA getting better and better. So they're going to have to pick up some wins against both Momentum, who I have at number 7, and whoever I put at 5 and 6.
Okay.
Yeah, Momentum is... It's a team that could do better, but I feel like their best days are behind them. Back in Season 3, that's as good as it got. And now the competition has caught up, and probably too good at this point in time. So those are my bottom 2. I think that's pretty much a lot of people's bottom 2.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot for either side to really avoid those 2 spots. And not only that, but they have to really play well to avoid being dropped.
Yeah, I think both of those teams, it's going to be tough for them if they go into a promotion, because the rival series for NA, it's got some pretty good talent there, like towards the top. So it'd be tough. It looks
better than last season. Let's put it like that. Rival series last season was very much okay, we know one team, maybe a couple of others,
Yeah, like it was a surprise that Out of Style, like I felt like even made it to the RLCS, because I felt like they were definitely worse than Fibian, obviously, and then
it
depended.
Justin.
Yeah, it depended on
you
how
saw Justin's
Momentum
stats at the end of that series, right?
Yeah.
That was like 60% of his team's points or something crazy like that.
And also, a reminder, guys, we're doing this on March 5th. It's not going to come out for like a week and a half. So these guys might have orgs by now, but we don't have that info. And it's not going to change where we put them. It doesn't matter if Out of Style's TSM. They're still 8th. Sorry, guys. That's where we have you.
Sorry,
All
Reggie.
Right. Now we will do, I guess we'll do 3 through 6. just to like do the
Okay.
the quarterfinals. I don't know, just to make it a little quicker instead of going back and forth.
Okay.
So we'll start at the bottom here. I'm gonna go number 6. I have Rogue. Rogue's a big question mark for me. I'm not sure. Like, I think they're gonna probably come in 6th throughout league play and then finish 6th and not advance. Like, I just see them not clicking right away, and I don't see it getting any better throughout the season. Like, they might do okay. They might steal a win here or there, but I could also see them possibly losing to a momentum or an out of style in one of those games. Like, they have a puncher's chance up top, but they also have a puncher's chance down low. I don't think Jacob is an improvement necessarily, as we talked about earlier, where I really like Matt. It just depends, I guess, how Insole is coming in again. Like, Sizz had probably his best season ever last season. He played really well. I don't expect that to happen again, like at that degree. So I think they could take a step back there. I don't know. I just don't really see them making too many moves. It's pretty close. I feel like 4, 5, and 6. I think most people are going to have pretty similar, like all three of these teams, and then it just depends where you put them. So number 5, I have Equinox. I think Classics, like, it seems weird because Equinox, it might seem like a downgrade because they had Jacob for that brief period. But if you think about it, when they had Sad Jr., it's definitely an upgrade with Classics over Sad Jr. So, like, if you think about it that way, they have a chance. They definitely improved. I think they're slightly better than Rogue. And it's going to come down to, is Classics going to be enough of a disruption in the front to allow Corrupted G to score a lot of goals? And maybe if Chrome gets involved in the offensive side, maybe that'll help a lot too. So they have a chance. It could be a very close match, them versus Ghost, who I have at number 4. Like, you don't want to go into just one best of 7, and I think Ghost Equinox, like, that could be relatively close. But I think Ghost will pull it out, and I think Ghost will get better throughout the season as they kind of figure it out. I think they are going to have to get Zane Jackie out of the role of, like, don't touch the ball ever, Zane Jackie. I think he will have to do a little bit more, and I think he's capable of it. So when he's having a good day, they're going to have a chance to beat one of the big 3. Kind of like last season, where no one expected them to beat the big 3, and then they came in second during league play. Or, no, I'm sorry, third in league play, but then second in the playoffs. So I think they have a chance to even get higher, but I doubt it, because the big 3 is again, the big 3 in North America. And at number 3, no surprise, I'm sandbagging G2. I have G2 at number 3. I think G2 will probably be the number 2 seed going out of league play. Very similar to last season. I think teams like NRG are going to take a little bit of time to get into it, possibly. And if G2 plays one of them early, like if they play NRG early, or if NRG plays a Ghost or Equinox early, they might fall there early on in the season as they're trying to get Justin involved. And then that might be that one game difference that matters when it comes down to the 2 or 3 seed when we leave league play. So I have G2 at number 3. So again, guys, this is for regional championship. So this would be like seeds going into the world championship. So G2 and Ghost would go to the world championship as the 3 and 4 seeds from North America. All right, Shogun, what do you got?
All right, so we're not really going to differ too. I mean, this is not really the region we think we're going to differ too much anyway.
Yeah, true.
Since I, sandbagged them an awful lot during the player top list, I'm going to have to keep doing it here. Equinox, I believe, is coming in at number 6. It's a team that could work, but needs an awful lot of things to go right for them. I struggle to see it really happening, especially when it really matters. Some of the top teams out there are just getting better and better at those big matches, so picking up that upset is going to become more difficult. Number 5, Rogue. I agree. There is a possibility of them doing some serious damage, but where does that damage come from? They seem like they've got an awful lot of ability to set up and annoy, but I just don't see the end firepower in this team.
I can see that.
So that's just going to be very difficult for them. They maybe need to switch up what Insolences does, and maybe make Jacob and Sizz work together as a duo to try and do as much damage as possible. But that's a team that, composition-wise, needs a little bit of tinkering. Number 4, Ghost Gaming. when I spoke and found out that they were adding Matt, I was just like, okay, well, that team is now top 4. And whilst I did
Yeah.
sit on Matt a little bit during the top list, now that I look at that team all put together, that makes sense. Like, that Ghost Gaming team makes so much more sense over having Classics in there. Because if you look at it in terms of how teams have previously been composed, you have like the third man, the man that sets up, and the person that scores. That is a very typical version of that team setup. You know, we've got Zane Jackie at the back, left mid can go and just cause all sorts of havoc, and Matt can finish off. Depending on how well they can execute that strategy is how well of a season they're going to have. You need one more from me, don't you?
Yep. Who's your number 3?
Okay, my number 3 here is G2.
Oh, look at this. Me and Shogun.
Not sitting on them. I think they're going to finish the season 5-2. You'll find out why I believe that in a second. But I also believe one of those losses is going to come from one of the top 2 teams, and the other loss is going to come from their very first match of the season, and everyone is going to start talking about how inconsistent they are again.
Here we go again. Rizzo, what are you doing?
Prediction for this season.
Oh, man. All right. So they're going to lose to Out of Style. And then they're gonna,
and they're gonna, win every other match apart from either a loss against NRG or Cloud9, and they'll beat the other team that they didn't face.
Yeah, like I feel like the top 4 in NA is kind of set in stone. It seems like right now, but again, when it comes down to that one best of 7, I could see Ghost losing it, but probably doubtful. So like, I think we're on the same page of like, we talk about the big 3, and I still think it's like the big 3. Then there's Ghost. And then there's Equinox and Rogue. Like, there's a tier where Ghost is kind of just in the middle by themselves. And then, like, the 3 above, and then Equinox and Rogue kind of just right below them. Could take a series, but it's like a probably 75-25 chance or 25-75 chance. So.
I think for Ghost, if Zane Jackie can really explode into this third man role or, push forwards a lot more than he does and pull it off successfully, they have a possibility of making this a big 4.
Yeah.
Right now, that is the 4th spot up for grabs.
Yeah,
and currently right now, it is Ghost Gaming's to fight for.
I really want to see like Lethamyr turn into that one of the top players in North America, like on the main stage. And I think like it's very possible that happens right here in this season, as we talked about in the player rankings. If you missed them, now
watch them.
Going to number 2, I have NRG at number 2. And Cloud9 at number 1. Cloud9 is just really, really good team. And I hate that Cloud9 doesn't have a space between Cloud and 9. It really annoys me. But anyway, the energy, I think Justin is going to have a phenomenal season. We talked about it a little bit in the player ranks. And he's with probably 2 of the best players, maybe minus Torment, to team up with when you're first coming into the RLCS. Like Garrett G and Fireburner. You wouldn't want too many other teammates there to be like, all right, I'm going to try this out. They're probably going to play around me, and I can just do whatever the hell I want. And Justin is going to be that difference maker. Garrett G and Fireburner are always super solid. And Energy, I think, might take some time to warm up. They might lose in the early series, but to be fair, they're price coming a lot. It could not happen at all. But the Energy, I think, will take down G2 in the semis and move on to the grand finals to play Cloud9. But Cloud9 is just too strong. Cloud9 is just so good. All 3 of them are so good. 3 of... some of the best mechanical players, I would say. It just comes down to their defense at times gets shaky because they don't have to play a lot of defense a lot of times in North America. They're usually just controlling the field, so it could come down to that. But Cloud9 is definitely one of the favorites again to win the World Championship, in my opinion. And they will be there once again as the number 1 seed from North America.
Yeah, I'm not really going to surprise you too much here. I've got the exact same way. NRG at number 2, Cloud9 at number 1. Now, NRG's got possibly the biggest potential to really jump up from what we saw last season, especially with Justin, but it's going to take a bit of time. Now, whether or not they actually have the time to really settle that in, because we know this is the most likely finals, in my opinion. Whether or not they've got the time to really settle in with Justin by the time we reach that finals is another thing entirely. But that's a really strong team. And Cloud9, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And the only thing that they break is defense.
So, let's talk about energy in G2, because I know a lot of people are going to question why we have G2 third. So why do you have energy above G2?
Let's put it like this. I rate them both very similarly. I do. NRG, my sort of pick on that one is more of the unknown. I had NRG as a better team last season. Now, obviously, that ended up getting proven wrong with G2 having much better results. But I believe taking what I thought then and adding Justin in instead, it's hard for me to change that opinion. Now, G2, they, it's not a big enough stage for them.
It's to say, it's online.
Why bother at region? As they qualified, who cares after that? Wait for them to get to the LAN, then be terrified.
Yes.
So that's actually my main reason for that one. It's just it's not a big enough stage.
Yeah, I think I would have energy in the online portion, but then when it comes to the big stage, without a doubt, I will have G2.
I'm terrified of G2 on the LAN. Jesus.
And that also includes with energy, because they have Justin coming in, and it'll be his very first LAN. I will have G2. Like, if they were to play each other, like somewhere like in the bracket, I would have G2 winning that 9 times out of 10.
I agree as well.
So, but I do think, G2 just for some reason when it's online and like they only have to play 1 series in a day, it's just like, whatever. And we'll see. But they did get the 2 seed last season in league play, which was a nice change of pace for them, because they usually had to battle it out in the quarters. So hopefully they won't have to battle it out in the quarters this time. But
this is not us sitting on G2. This is us just saying right now that there are 3 teams right now that are just the top of North America.
Yeah. And
here's roughly how we see them coming in. And knowing G2's inconsistency online, it's the safest analytical bet.
You said it, Shogun. You said inconsistent G2. You said it. I'm writing it down. Okay. All right, moving on. There's our North America Regional Championship Finals, 1 through 6, and then, of course, League Play, 7 and 8, Momentum and Out of Style. Very similar. We only had one different team. It was Rogue and Equinox, which they both finished in the same exact spot, so it doesn't even matter.
They get the same amount of prize money.
Yep. So let's move on to Europe, where we might be probably a little bit more different here. And I will definitely be different. My 7th will surprise you. But first, Shogun's going to go and tell us his 8 and 7.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I can go first. So my 8th is not going to surprise you.
Yeah, I already wrote it.
It's Excel.
Yeah.
Maybe a win this season, hopefully.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
It really is a team that is going to go down fighting at the very least, but I think they're going down. The main focus for them this season needs to be getting ready to hold on to their spot. Because right now they are dropping games against teams that they should not be dropping teams to. I mean, if I had Excel right now and they weren't even in the RLCS, they weren't even in the Rivals Series, they were in the play-in, I would be like still iffy as to whether or not they'd make it. That's how bad their results have been as of late. They need to improve. They need to improve a lot. And only then can they save their spot in the RLCS. Number 7, Team Envy. Ignite has got a lot of work he needs to do if he needs to fix this team, because they had a poor season last season, and nothing that I have seen during the off season has said to me it's going to be different. They are in a stacked region that has got no room right now for any sort of mistakes. And Envy I just don't think they're ready for that fight.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. That's it. You only do 2 teams. All right. I will do my 2. This is where we're going to differ a bit here, Shogun.
Shall I go and get my pitchfork out, shall I?
Yep. We are going to differ. We kind of went over this in the European player ranking, so you'll see what's coming. But
I know exactly where you're going.
Excel number 8 and Fnatic number 7. I don't have many reasons why Fnatic will be down here, but the reason for Envy not being down here is they have shown that they can beat the best teams in the world randomly. And that could come into play really big during league play here. They beat Gale Force twice right before DreamHack and then lost to crap teams. They could beat Gale Force again here and just get that one extra win over Fnatic. It'll come down to maybe an Envy and Fnatic series, unless Envy can like pull off 2 random wins. Like they'll probably beat Excel. You hope they beat Excel at least to have a chance here. But yeah. I think Envy has a chance to take down 2 of these other games and sneak in there. Maybe even lose to Fnatic and sneak in there. But I think like Envy and Fnatic are kind of very similar to me, and either one could win that series on any given day. I think Envy, they were having those like puncher chances where they're beating Gale Force and stuff like that. And that was without iIgnite. And again, I think iIgnite will spark that team just a bit more. To be fair, like Fnatic's a really good team too. They could easily finish like #1 in league play. Who knows? Like they could go on a tear. Very similar to what PSG did last season. But I have Fnatic down here at number 7 because someone has to be down here. So I have Fnatic there.
See, I'm looking at this right now and I'm saying, all right, Envy, they have to beat Fnatic no matter what.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that match has to go their way. If they cannot beat Fnatic, they are bottom 2.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And I know which way I would rather bet on that one.
I gotcha.
Oh, God, I'm just starting to realize what is next.
All right, 3 through 6.
Do we have to?
I know.
Okay. I'm looking at this right now and I'm still not sure.
It's going to change after week 1. It's going to change after week 2. It's going to change after week 3.
Okay, let's start here with the one that I just haven't seen enough from. Number 6, I'm going to go flip side.
Okay.
It's going to take a lot to fix how much of a bad season they had last season. And Yukio's playstyle to me, whilst will enable the rest of his team to do a little bit more, I just don't think it's enough. This is a region that's going to be way tougher to play in than it was last season. And I just don't feel like that little edge they get by bringing Yukio in is enough to propel them into a World Championship spot.
Okay.
Number 5. Those were the 3 I was so certain about at the towards the bottom.
Last team out.
Last team out. Fnatic. I'm gonna go Fnatic on that one.
Yeah.
My reasoning, because someone had to be. Okay, someone had to be. They're gonna miss out on it. It's gonna be a close series, but they're gonna lose, and they're gonna lose to eeny, meeny, miny. They're gonna lose.
All right. Who's your number 4?
All right, so I gotta be a little bit more positive as of, do I? For the first time ever, I believe this would be. Wait, no, it wouldn't, because are we predicting? Well, at least I'm at the very least predicting that North America and Europe would be sending the same teams to LAN 2 years in a row.
Okay, yeah, that has never happened. Like last season was one of the bigger turnovers, I think, on players. So
yeah,
which nowadays it's not like that because everyone makes it back to RLCS. But
yeah. So I'm not. So I'm just saying that aloud. I was just like because of that, but no. This is what I think right now. I'm gonna put complexity at this number 4 spot.
All right.
Obviously, I believe in this team a lot. I think that they can go really far, but I think they can go really far with a different play style. I don't know how much longer this can last. And I think by the time we reach the end of the season, it won't last. They'll come and they'll have a tough time getting into the World Championships, but they'll make it, and then they'll have a couple of weeks to really formulate a new plan because they're going to need it.
All right, number 3.
Number 3, PSG. For no other reason than top 3 is ludicrous. PSG is on a ridiculous run of form right now, but I see one team making ludicrous improvements, and for that reason, someone has to get pushed down, and it sure as hell isn't being Gale Force.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. So I like where this is going. We'll go into mine. Let me make sure I have my right list. No list. All right. So the bottom will shock you, but the top will make sense. All right, here we go. Envy, number 6, which that won't shock you. Number 5 will. Envy at number 6. I just don't think they're good enough yet, but who knows? That special iIgnite sauce. You never know. Number 5. I'm sorry to do this to you, Shogun. Complexity.
Yeah,
I
can understand that. To be honest, I completely understand that.
They've just been too, like, we throw around inconsistent a lot, but, like, they've had one good result.
Yeah.
And that was RLCS Season 4. Every other tournament they've been in, they have not had great results. They didn't make it to top 8 in DreamHack. They finished last at E-League. To be fair, that was by one game and a tiebreaker, so whatever. But
yeah,
they haven't had consistency with just dominance. Like, sure, they played well at Gfinity when they were there as well, but again, that's not the same caliber. There. Yeah, they showed up a couple times, and sure, whatever. But Complexity, I could see them either having a good like league play and just losing in that 3 spot or something like that, or I could see them kind of struggling here early on because, again, trying to find that different play style, it could hamper them here throughout the season. They're probably my one team, the outside shot of falling to 7th. Besides, besides Fnatic, obviously, but because if they struggle early, then it could really hurt them, and I could see them like maybe that surprise team that falls out of it. It wouldn't be like a world champion curse, but it would be like, oh, they made the finals, and then like, wow, they're not even here. So I don't know. Yeah. I could see it happening, but we'll see. Next up, by Flipside Tactics. I think they're gonna get better as the season goes on, and then into that quarterfinal matchup. As long as they're 3 through 6, they're gonna be a threat because I think like Yukio is gonna get better and better throughout the season, and he's going to get more confident, and Mystic and Cooks can make game-changing plays at any point, and that could be series changing plays, like if 2 games go their way because Mystic did something nuts and then Cooks here did something nuts back-to-back. That's 2 games in a best-of-7. Very possible that they can kind of maybe steal a series here, but I think they can have a decent league play as well. It might take a little while to get Yukio involved. It probably depends on who they play early on. Like, if they play the bottom or the top in week 1, they're probably fine. Because they're supposed to lose to, like, a Gale Force. They're supposed to beat a team like Excel. But if they have to play those teams in the middle, then they might have a harder league play. But I still think they will fall into that 3 to 6 region, and no one wants to play them there. And I think they have a good chance to win it. Next up, number 3. We are on the same exact page here. PSG. I have them at number 3. We're going to get into it in a bit. It's not really based on PSG. Like, they've been playing really well. It's based on what we think is going to happen with Vitality, I guess. And we did not plan this beforehand, so we didn't have each other's lists. But so far, we've been pretty close.
Did less planning than we needed to for this, to be honest.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But, yeah, so I have PSG at number 3. They could have a decent league play. They might be up there. Like, I think Vitality is one of those teams that will get stronger throughout the season as well. But we'll see. But I got PSG at number 3.
Yeah. I agree with you on complexity. It was actually a team that when I was looking at this, saying to myself, they could be 2nd or they could be 7th.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only team I'm looking at here that has got such a huge split with their potential positions.
I can see that for sure.
I think they've always sort of struggled to get major results. I mean, they're probably the only major team at this point that still doesn't have a major tournament win, depending on if you include Face It, at which point if you don't, then NRG are added to that list as well.
They won X Games, like that counts, I think. Like X
yeah, that's the same one I'm talking about, I think.
Yeah. That should
by
count.
Face It. Okay,
yeah.
So then Complexity to me is the only team that I put at that tier, or at least has been at that tier, and failed to win a major tournament.
Okay. Yeah, my main gripe is they've only been there once.
Exactly.
That's my main gripe with them. But
exactly. It feels like they should have been in way more finals. They should have done way more damage with the amount of time they had at that top.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they could have done, that one tournament they did have. There are certainly reasons and excuses that you could use as to why they didn't do as well.
I'm not a big fan of the tired. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the tired excuse, but yeah. Okay.
I can understand some of it though. Just like you can't that many times in a row. It just
isn't
plausible.
But they have a pretty long break before. Like they were throwing t-shirts before the finals. They were well rested.
I mean, Doomsday was throwing t-shirts before the finals, but it was so timid,
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's probably the one that we're gonna have the most. That's the one we should disagree on the most, but I can definitely see where you're coming from on that.
Yeah, and I can see where you're coming from too. Like they could easily be top 2 again and be in the running, like take Gale Force to 7. It's very possible.
It
But
is.
yeah, I just don't see it this time around. But again, Europe, like every single matchup besides Excel, probably there's a reason to choose the other team.
Yes.
Basically, unless Gale Force maybe, but Gale Force has had some struggles in league play.
So here's the other prediction, actually, before we get any further.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to try and keep this one really secret. No one that's watching this needs to tell him.
Yeah, no one
How
definitely
many times will Axel Toss pick Flipside to win?
Oh my god, it's got to be like probably 6 of 7.
It's going to be 6, and the
7.
only time he isn't going to pick it is against Gale Force.
Or Envy, because he likes to do that like weird Envy pick. Like he's probably over Envy by now, but he was picking Envy a lot last season too.
I pick on Axel way too often.
It's good. Please do. All right, Shogun, give me your top 2. I assume I know what it is, but
I think we've got the same for this, don't we?
I probably.
So number 2 for me, Team Vitality.
Yep.
And number 1, Gale Force Esports.
Yep.
Finally, all right, I'm going to start with Gale Force on this one because I have a little bit more of a longer diatribe when it comes to Vitality. Finally, we can get rid of this bloody Champions Curse rubbish. Okay? It's not true, a curse. Man. You're just lazy. Okay? Get over it.
Exactly. It's true, though.
It's... Gale Force is a professional team. I mean, you got K-Dop on it. Any team with K-Dop on it is not going to allow you to be lazy. He is the most professional we have in this esports scene. So they are not going to drop. They are the favorites coming in. And it's hard for them to not be first, in my opinion. Let's sort of hear your top 2 and your reasons why, and then we'll sort of talk about this other...
Sure. So I have the same... So I have the same exact. I have Vitality and Gale Force. I think this is the season Vitality kind of grows into that spot. It probably comes down to how Freaky plays, basically. Like, we know what Fairy Peak will do. He is a difference maker in at least one of those games in a short best of 5. Pashy is consistent. He'll be there in the middle. It just comes down to Freaky. If he can get involved. And I think a lot of people kind of misinterpret what Vitality is. Like, everyone's like, oh, they're still a very defensive team. Like, they were extremely offensive last season. Sure, Team Secret, they were even more offensive, but they were an extremely offensive team last season. But they still know how to play that defensive backbone if they have to. They kind of change it up series by series at times, which sometimes I don't really like, but it seems like sometimes they like to play slow and sometimes they like to play fast. Every time they played fast, though, they do extremely well. And now with Fairy Peak, like at the top peak of his performance, probably, the faster they play, the better it's going to be. So it's going to kind of determine if Freaky can play up to that speed. But I think Vitality will have a really good season. They have that big org behind them. They have that foundation. They're like in a good spot right now. They don't have to worry about like people hating them because they're with Market. Like they can be extremely comfortable about their org and about everything outside of the game, which should help them a lot because there is a lot of support. Like we know Gregan well. He's going to help them a lot as well. And I just think they have a really good chance this season to surprise and get some upset wins, if you want to call them that. Like I think Vitality number 2 is probably a little bit of an upset or a wild card pick. But if me and Shogun both have them there, obviously it's true, guys. So
and then Gale Force, objectively fact.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna happen. And then Gale Force is just too good. Like they might lose a best of 5 here or there in league play, like they did last season. They lost 2 game 5s, but then when it comes down to it, they're gonna.
Oh, dude, that drew me up the wall because it was just like, oh, Gale Force is not playing up to their abilities, and I was just like, they lost in game 5 to PSG and Method,
and I think both were overtime.
Those teams have ever been playing.
Yeah, I think both were overtime. I'm not sure of that.
Yeah, it was like, okay, well,
yeah,
the team that wins is brilliant, and the team that loses is bad.
Yeah,
typical.
Exactly. But so give me your spiel on Vitality.
Yeah. If it doesn't work for them this season, it's never gonna work, basically. Because they have got everything behind them. They've got a new org. They can, the fans now want to get behind them. They're gonna have a huge German following. Gregan's gonna be able to manage them. He's, expressly said numerous times he's not coaching them, he's managing them. Yeah. He's gonna make sure that they're good to go. But I also know it's Greg, and I know he's not gonna be able to help himself, no matter what he says. But the main thing here is Freaky, and we're going to keep pointing towards him. He's mentioned it on Twitter that he's not got the best backing back at home. Considering they got Gfinity to do, we're assuming that they're going to have a house around. This is the best thing that can happen for him. And if he can get up to that like mid-tier, upper mid-tier of European players, that team explodes into a complete powerhouse. They need this season to go well, though.
I feel like, yeah, this is the season of...
If this season doesn't go well, someone gets replaced.
Yeah, like if this season doesn't go well, it's most likely Freaky's gone, and then they could be a top team once again. But I do think they will play well, and I think Freaky will play well as to an extent. Like, he doesn't have to do a lot.
He doesn't. He just has to be solid.
Exactly, and he has shown that he can be solid
and play solid all the time.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely possible. We'll see how it goes. But Europe again. Like last season, only one person got a perfect European prediction week. And that was Quinn Lobdell. One of the few weeks he was out there who actually predicted, because most times he forgot to predict. Yes. So he was the only one out of all of us. And I bet this year, like if we do pickups on there, I'm not even sure if we are. But there will probably be very few.
What's our rule again? If we if you don't put them in, you just get all blue, don't you?
Yeah, it was all blue. But no one ever won based on that.
And I'd still be pretty close up there. That's how much of a toss-up it is this season.
Yeah, Europe's going to be insane. Like I feel like NA, it's very similar to last season where we think we know where it's going. But NA had some surprises with Ghost last season. But Europe is just like, we had PSG and Method jump up out of nowhere. Like Method was one of those teams that people thought was right around that bubble of third-ish, I think. So that one wasn't as big of a surprise, but it could happen again. It could easily happen again in Europe where some team just goes on a tear in league play.
The reason why it's less likely that we're going to get surprised this season is down to the fact that we are now a two-tiered esport. Yeah. You know, we have the RLCS and we have the Rival Series, so we're not getting this new influx every single season of new players. So it's very easy for us as analysts just to keep an eye on, make sure everyone is roughly where we think they are, rather than just going, okay, we've got 1 week to research everything we need to know about this team, and we still don't know enough.
Well, I think one of the things with it is it's just best of fives are so short. And if you have one bad day when you play 2 games in league play, then that, a one bad day could mean just 2 game 5s.
I mean, we've seen it the other way as well. Season 4 leftover. They had one day where they just got 2 surprise victories, and that almost carried them the entire way for the rest of the because they took out the 2 top teams in Europe.
Yep. It's like that's going to be where things change, I think, is who grabs that number 2 automatic world championship bid. Will it be a surprise-ish? Like if it's one of those 4 through 6 or 4 through 7 teams that we have, like if one of them grabs it, then that leaves one less spot open for who we think are the more dominant teams. Like we're thinking Gale Force, obviously. Like if Gale Force is not a top 2, then things get interesting. And if for us at least, if Vitality's not up there or PSG, it's like it could get a little hairy. So
I think when it comes to Europe, if Gale Force is not top 2 and Excel is not bottom 2, those are the only possible things that we could look at the end of the season and just go, okay, that was a surprise. Everything else is not a surprise. You know, teams that me and you put down as 6th, getting into top 2, I'd be like, yeah, sure. I could see that happening.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely that fight, 2 through 7. And like maybe
fight there's some weights. Spot, please.
Huh?
Get yourself safe.
Oh yeah, for the 6th spot. Yeah, like that'll be very important. Because there's a good European talent coming up as well. So who knows? But again, one of those teams will at least be probably Excel. So you'll be at least confident in that game, hopefully. And then we'll see. But you don't want to face 2 European Rival Series teams. That's probably not a good idea. But that is going to do it, Shogun. We made it through all the videos.
It's been a long recording day.
It's been like 3 hours. And
we've been consistent for most of it. We agree for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Getting ready for the RLCS season, which will start tomorrow. Because this will go up on a Friday, I think. We'll see how it goes. But
whenever. It starts when we want it to start.
Yeah, so that'll be Saturday. Will be North America Day. Me and Shogun will be there. Surprise, surprise. Hopefully. Hopefully we make our
show
flights
made right there.
Yeah, but there you go. That's all you need. Me and Shogun will do every part, so it'll be fine. And thank you, Shogun, for all the help. Make sure you follow this man on Twitter. Go follow his Twitch stuff. He has some cool graphics. Twitch.
Oh, I haven't used that in ages, but I'm gonna get back up.
.tv/Mega Shogun RL is the Twitch.
Yeah.
All right, that's where I got confused before. But go check him out. I'll have his links in the description below. But thank you, Shogun. We're both geniuses. We know it.
Absolutely.
Guys, don't even watch RLCS. We already know what's going to happen.
You've just had it spoiled.
Exactly. You watched all this. It's already good. Me and him are going to be number 1 and 2 in fantasy. It's fine. Fine. Don't worry about it. Don't even play.
I'll steal his NA picks. He can steal my my European picks.
Exactly. We'll be all set to go.
Wait, one of those. That's not fair, actually.
But that's it for us. We have done it. See you at RLCS. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you later.